Broadcasting on the Sports Quotient, Sports Radio America, and Spreaker.com, you're listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe, the man who once thought that tossing around the old pigskin had something to do with a luau. Cut me some slack, guys. I was 5. Anyway, here's a man I never want to see in a grass skirt, though I'm sure he could rock it. Your host at the BLC Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks, everyone. Now that you said grass skirt, the next show I will come in a grass skirt.
I'm sure you will, and I apologize to anybody for putting that image
That's
in
why
their
this
minds.
is radio. Thank you, Josh. All right, well, we have another great show in store for you today. We promise that today's show will be more entertaining than that game going on in Hawaii right now, speaking of grass skirts, that has all those 4th and 5th string NFL players going in it today. We've set the bar fairly low for ourselves, so all we have to do is go up from here, Josh.
Before we welcome in our first contestant, we'd like to encourage all of you to go check out our social media pages. On Facebook, you can find us at What's the Score, and on Twitter and Instagram at WTS Sports Quiz.
If you'd like to play our games on air, you can email us at WTSSportsQuiz@gmail.com or visit our social media pages and click on the pinned post at the top of each page.
If you ever miss a show, you can find it on Spreaker.com, iTunes, and Stitcher. Just type What's the Score in the search bar and click on the latest episode. Also, if you think this show is worth at least $1, why not donate to our Patreon account? Just search What's the Score and donate today.
Let's meet our panelists this week. First up, from the Big 920 WOKY in Milwaukee and a public address announcer for Marquette University and the Lakeshore Chinooks, it is Dan Pfeifer.
Good to be back again this week. I don't know if I can live up to the performance that I had a couple weeks ago when I not only walked away on top, I couldn't believe it. I actually got a perfect score.
You did? First time in show history.
First time, I think, in my life that I've ever been anything close to perfect.
Well,
so,
we'll see if you can keep that going this time. Next up, we have the editor-in-chief of SportsJudgeJury.com and an avid Wisconsin sports fan. It is Nick Zurich.
Thank you. I don't know if I can live up to Dan's perfect score, but he set himself up pretty high and then brought him back down so that he can only go up. I see what you did there. It's a veteran play. So
well done.
I will hopefully match it.
Absolutely. And finally, the dark horse of the evening, a biology student at Wisconsin Lutheran College by day and an avid duck hunter and sports watcher by night. It is Mac Yerks.
Thank you. Let's just see how tonight goes.
Welcome to the show, panel. Nick and Mac, you guys are both making your debuts this week, while Dan is returning for his second showing. Dan, do you have any words of advice for the new guys on the panel this week?
Have fun. Enjoy yourself. It's not as much about the competition as it is about talking some good sports.
All right, panel, sit tight. We have plenty in store for you gentlemen tonight.
Sorry, evil laugh. It said insert evil laugh here. Anyway, it's time now to get the show on the road, and with our first contestant game, joining us on the phone to play Quotable Context is Sean Marius. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, Sean, you're going to be playing our first game this evening called Quotable Context. Game Master Scheibe will read you 5 quotes from this week's news, and you must correctly identify the context of each quote. Answer 3 out of 5 questions correctly, and you'll win our prize, a What's the Score t-shirt. If you do get stuck on one question, though, you are allowed to ask one panelist for help on only one question. So make sure you choose wisely. Are you ready to play, Sean?
Let's do this.
All right, here is your first quote.
One of the many things Coach Ditka emphasized to us was to enjoy the moment. It doesn't come very often.
That was Carolina Panthers head coach Ron Rivera talking about what event that is coming up this weekend. Next weekend, pardon me.
I'm going to guess Super Bowl 50.
That is correct, yes.
All right.
Super Bowl 50 between the gunslinger Peyton Manning and Cam Newton dabbing his way to success. We'll see what happens. It could be a close game or it could be a blowout. At this point, nobody really knows, honestly. Here is your next quote, sir.
We almost got them.
That was San Antonio Spurs head coach Greg Popovich commenting on his team's performance this week against what adversary in the Western Conference?
The Golden State Warriors.
That is correct.
All right.
The interview as itself is absolute Greg Popovich gold for anybody that's ever watched a pre- or post-game interview with him. It was fantastic. He gave the reporters every bit of soundbite they would ever want. Realistically, though, the Spurs did lose by 30, so it wasn't exactly as close as Coach Popovich said it was. Here is your next quote, sir.
That's what tennis players do.
That was former tennis player Nick Landell telling the media this week that all the rumors are true about what?
Ooh, I'm going to have to go with some panelist help here.
Okay, would you like to ask Nick, Dan, or Mac?
Well, they all just sound so intelligent, I'm not quite sure. Let's go with the first name you said. I couldn't quite hear it, but let's go with him.
Nick.
Okay.
All right.
Sure. So, as far as a hint goes, he was, let's see here, talking about rumors that talking about players that could be, I guess, fixing certain things for compensation.
There you go. Does that help at all, Sean, with a clue?
Yeah, okay. I think I understand.
Okay, and what would your answer be?
All right, so I guess the answer would be with the quote is referring to people fixing matches or throwing matches.
Yes, that is correct. The tennis world maybe a little bit more corrupt than FIFA with the fact of people accepting money for throwing games.
It sounds to me like there's actually more money in gambling on tennis than there is in actually playing tennis, which generally leads to a problem.
It usually does, yes. That is absolutely correct. All right, Sean, here is the next quote for you.
I'm an African-American quarterback. That may scare a lot of people because they haven't seen nothing that they can compare me to.
That was what NFL quarterback talking about the many different reactions people are having to his success this season?
That would be Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton.
That is correct. Cam Newton continuing to change the norm, and I had a thought this week about Cam Newton. I feel like if Michael Vick would have never gotten into all the dogfighting trouble, that he would have been that next continuing up the scale. You had Warren Moon, and then there was no middleman there. It would have been Michael Vick. He had all the success, but all that off-field issues kind of ruined him, unfortunately.
Let's not forget about Doug Williams, who led the Washington Redskins to a world championship as the first African-American quarterback to do so.
Or Donovan McNabb, who Vick lost to in the NFC title game in 2004.
Something like that. I was young. I was a kid. I wasn't as old as you guys are, apparently.
Thanks, Bax.
Happy to help.
Let's not forget, from Tennessee Titans. Does anybody know?
Oh, Steve.
Vince Young?
Oh, Vince Young. Oh, I was going with Steve McNair. I thought you were
Yeah.
going with Eric McNair, but Vince Young, absolutely. Another notable quarterback in the NFL. All right, here is your final clue.
You can probably get a house. You can get 2 cars. I'll set it up for you.
That was Shaquille O'Neal telling his son to definitely consider going to what school to play his college basketball.
Could you repeat the question? I missed the first part.
Absolutely, yeah. Here's the quote again for you.
You can probably get a house. You can get 2 cars. I'll set it up for you.
That was Shaquille O'Neal telling his son to definitely consider going to what school to play his college basketball at.
I'm going to go with the alma mater, LSU.
That is correct, yes.
All right.
Shaquille O'Neal, not necessarily a quiet man, as we all know, but telling the media this week that, sure, when he was at LSU, they gave him money and let him do whatever he wanted, and you're not exactly something we would tell the media now because Johnny Manziel couldn't even sign a napkin at a restaurant without being sued by the NCAA. So with that being said, though, Shaquille O'Neal is going to help his son, and hopefully he'll have a nice playing career, but it sounds like his off-field career will be even better for him as well. Game Master Scheibe, how did Sean do on our quiz?
Sean got a perfect score. 5 out of 5. He's a winner!
Nicely done, Sean. Thank you so much for playing with us tonight.
Looks like we're heading to our first break now, but when we come back, our panelists will have their first crack to showcase their knowledge of this week's sports news. You're listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz on the Sports Quotient, Sports Radio America, and Spreaker.com.
Hey everyone, this is Baxter Colburn, host of What's the Score, the sports news quiz. Do you enjoy sports trivia just about as much as I do? Well, if you do, go and check out thesportsquotient.com, one of the many places that you can listen to What's the Score, the sports news quiz. Not only do they have a killer podcast section, but they have some of the best sports quizzes on the internet that I have ever seen, and I've seen a lot of things, especially in the sports world. Go and check it out today and see just how you stack up against the rest of the sports world. That is thesportsquotient.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm your Game Master, Josh Scheibe.
And I'm your host, Baxter Colburn.
Hey, if you think the show is worth at least $1, why don't you go to our Patreon account?
We'd be very grateful if you donate to the show. That's how people like Josh and I stay employed, or pretend to be employed at least. Thank you so much for listening to What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. And now, back to more sports trivia action.
Hope my check's in the mail. Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. I'm your Game Master, Josh Scheibe. This week, our panelists are Dan Pfeifer, Mac Yerks, and Nick Zurich. And now, here's your host of the BLC Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks, everyone. The Super Bowl, as you may or may not know, is next week, and we are just as excited about the game as you are. That's why our next show will be a special Super Bowl-themed show. You won't want to miss it. Game Master Scheibe and I are even going to do our best Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson halftime show impression, uncensored, of course.
Whoa, you didn't tell me about this. Okay,
it was in the script.
okay.
It's right there in the script.
I see it now.
Uncensored is even circled. Make sure to wear your top there, anyway.
Uh-huh. Time now for our panelists to showcase their knowledge about this past week's sports news so we can get off this topic.
Nick, we'll start with you because Game Master Scheibe is sweating profusely. Nick, there's a new style of bullfighting starting, according to a recent picture that showcases a bullfighter doing what?
High jumping.
No, that's not correct. No, he is holding his newborn daughter in one hand.
Yeah, I wasn't close.
No, yeah, the picture came out this week. It stirred a lot of restless mothers. They're like, what are you doing? But yes, he's got his newborn just cute as a button in one hand, and the bull is literally running by him, and he's got his cape. He's olaying with the other as the bull is running by.
I'll forgive you for not getting that one, Nick, because you have a level of sanity unlike this guy. Wow.
Honestly, yeah. And they're not, the bullfighting world is not saying they're officially adapting this as the new style of fighting, but yes.
It may get more attention.
Absolutely. It'd be like, don't do the baby. No, the baby.
Dan, the next question goes to you. An unlikely runner finished 7th in a recent half marathon. Who was it?
Not so much who was it, as much as what was it? It was a dog!
Yes, it was. A dog that got off its leash somehow ended up finishing 7th in a half marathon, and I don't even think I could finish 7th in a half marathon if I was a dog. I don't know. Game Master Scheibe, have you ever run a half marathon?
No.
Never mind. Anyway.
My wife sometimes says I'm a dog, and I don't think I could get anywhere close to that. So.
Anyway, Mac, question for you, sir. A lifelong Chicago sports fan took a jab at what current Chicago Bears player in the final line of her obituary this week?
Oh boy.
The man that rains down criticism on a weekly basis for Chicago Bear fans. Would you like a hint?
Yes.
Jay
Cutler.
Yes, there you go. Nicely done. Just by me saying, he's like, oh, I got it. Yes, here's the official obituary. So rest in peace, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Porter Bowman, 78, of Northbrook, Illinois, died peacefully January 9th, 2016, surrounded by her children. Betsy was an elementary school teacher and later a tutor, and her passion and focus was being dedicated anyway. She was a woman of loyalty, integrity, opinion, curiosity, and intelligence, and a lifelong fan of the Cubs, Blackhawks, and Bears, except Jay Cutler. It's in parentheses at the end, yes. So one last final jab, but of course it has to be, literally if it would have been anybody else in the sports world, nobody would have cared, but Jay Cutler, the man that even the dead are still mad at, that they let him down one final time.
Well, we're heading to a break, but when we come back, our next contestant will look deep into our What's the Score official licensed crystal soccer ball to try to predict the future. Don't go away. You're listening to What's the Score on Spreaker.com, Sports Radio America, and the Sports Quotient.
Hey guys, this is Baxter Colburn, host of What's the Score, the sports news quiz. Did you know that you can listen to us on a lot of different platforms now? Yes, you can. Go and check us out on Spreaker.com. You can download our podcast on Stitcher and on the iTunes App Store. You can also find us on thesportsquotient.com and on sportsradioamerica.com as well. Just about anywhere that you can look for great radio programming, you can find What's the Score, the sports news quiz. Go and check us out today and tell your friends. Hey everyone, this is Baxter Colburn, host of What's the Score, the sports news quiz.
And I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe.
If you think you are smart enough, or smarter than a 5th grader, and want to play our games on air, you can either come by the studio or you can call us, but there's a few different ways you can get a hold of us.
If you'd like to email us, you can do so at wtsportsquiz@gmail.com.
Or for you social media savants, head over to Facebook, What's the Score, the sports news quiz, or Twitter, WTS Sports Quiz. Now back to the action with myself and Josh Scheibe.
Hello all, and welcome back to the BLC studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is What's the Score, the sports news quiz. I'm Josh Scheibe, your game master. We've got some great panelists this week, Mac Yerks, Nick Zurich, and Dan Pfeifer, and they'll have the opportunity to show their prowess in just a little bit. Before that, though, here's the host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn!
Thank you, Josh. Coming up, we put our panelists to the test in our Name 5 Panelist Showdown. If you would like to play our games on air, why not shoot us an email at wtsportsquiz@gmail.com, or you can find the links to our contestant form on our Facebook and Twitter pages.
Playing our next game, which we've decided to call Future or Fiction, is Nicole Haase. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Nicole, the sports world is an ever-changing adventure. This week, the USA Today sports section published an article revealing some of the advancements that they believe will be taking place over the next 25 years in the sports world, whether we like it or not. So we've decided to put together a quiz about some of those advancements and what they might be. Each question will have 3 possible answers. 2 of those 3 questions are correct, but we want to know which one of those 3 is the fiction, the false, the not correct, the no, sir-reno.
Correctly answer 3 out of 5 questions, and you'll win our prize, a What's the Score t-shirt. If you get stuck on a question, remember you are allowed to ask one panelist for a hint, but you can only do that one time, so choose wisely. Are you ready to play?
No pressure.
Okay, there we go. All right, here is your first question. In the way of stadium improvements, which one of these choices will not be a possibility in the future? A person's seat will be chosen based off of who their social media contacts are. B, spring-loaded carbon fiber basketball floors will be designed to add an extra 6 inches in vertical leaps. Game Master Scheibe would play basketball. Or C, hockey pads that will be form-fitting and weigh less, allowing players to move quicker down the ice.
I'm going to go with A.
That is incorrect. It is C. The hockey pads will be that's the one we made up. The first 2 were the correct ones, believe it or not.
That's ridiculous because they actually kind of need that.
Yeah, well, maybe they should read my articles here. It'd be helpful. Here's your second question involving athletes. So which one of these is not a part of the future plan according to USA Today? Is it A, there will be 2 different types of sports leagues, one for the humans and one for the advanced humans? B, a new drug will come out that will prevent concussions? Or C, athletes are allowed to use performance-enhancing drugs to keep their bodies in top form?
Let's go ahead and ask the panel.
Okay, who would you like to ask? You have 3 wonderful
Dan.
gentlemen. Dan. All right, Nicole is calling on you for a hint, Dan. What do you think you can offer her in the ways of a hint?
Let me think here. All I'm going to tell you to do is use your head.
Yeah, I don't remember the options now.
Would you like the 3 answers again? Yes, we'll do that one more time. So your answers are A, there will be 2 different types of sports leagues, one for humans and the advanced humans. B, a new drug that will prevent concussions. Or C, athletes that will be allowed to use performance-enhancing drugs to keep their body.
So B.
That is correct, yes. All right, 1 for 2. Still plenty of time, Nicole. Here we go with our next question. The broadcast world will undergo a little bit of some changes as well, so Dan and I will be out of jobs. Which one of these choices is not on the agenda? A, fans can watch the game via virtual reality through the eyes of their favorite player. B, a social media analyst will be added to the broadcast teams, reporting what people are doing, saying, and what's trending during a game. Or C, Google and Amazon will buy multi-year broadcast rights for major sports leagues.
I'll go with C.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry. So you still have 2 more chances. Don't worry. All right. A new sports league will be getting a little bit more popularity. Which one of these, though, is not going to be getting more popularity if we have anything to say about it? Is it A, the International Handball Federation, B, Major League Soccer, or C, the National Hockey League?
Hey.
That is correct, yes. Nicely done. All right, this is exciting. You have gone 2 for 4. If you get this one correctly, you will win our prize. Are you ready for the last question, Nicole?
I hope so.
Okay, here we go. There will be bigger and better changes to the sports world as a whole, but which one of these options is not a current candidate for the future? Is it A, fans don't watch games on TV anymore, but on their enhanced social media feeds? B, robots will take over for humans at stadiums in terms of concessions, apparel, and sanitation sales? Or is it C, more franchises will establish women's teams to help build a better rep for the brand?
It's C.
Are you sure?
Apparently not.
I'm not saying it's not right.
I'm saying as a women's sport writer, I think it's probably not C, but hey.
So which one would you like to go with? Are you going to go with C? Or
I'm going to go with C.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry. No, it is fans will not be watching games on TV anymore, but they will be watching it on enhanced social media feeds. I made that one up, unfortunately. Game Master Scheibe, how did Nicole do on our quiz?
Nicole got 2 out of 5 today. Unfortunately, she's not a winner.
Oh, well, Nicole, thank you so much for playing our game today. We appreciate it.
Is it just me, or did everyone in here seem to look a little bit more excited when you talked about you and me being out of a job?
I think there was a consensus. I think that's trending on Twitter already, yes. The
Oh,
hashtag Fire Pfeifer and Colburn. Fire Pfeifer. I don't know if that would be a good one or not.
Is that hashtag fire with a PH?
Yes.
Okay.
You
I
have to.
like it.
I know, like the fabulous Pfeiffers, the fabulous Dan Pfeifer. I like it. All right, panel. Questions for you before we go to a break, though. Let's see just how well you guys are paying attention to sports this last week. Dan, we'll start with you, sir. A girls' basketball team was told that they had to leave their basketball league due to what?
They were too successful.
That is correct, yes. The team was 3-0, and according to the league, that is too good. Too good. They were too good to be in the league, so they received a letter from the league's commissioner. I think it was a high school girls' basketball league, and they're like, yeah, sorry, you guys are too good. The other teams just don't want to play against you anymore.
So if I win like this show too, am I at threat of being taken off of What's
You
the
are.
Score?
You will be on our blacklist for not being on the show anymore, yes.
I'll try to answer some questions wrong.
Thank you. Maybe if someone pays you off like the tennis players, you can throw the game. That might be a good idea.
I like it.
Mac, Oregon State tried to start building new locker rooms, only to have what happen during construction?
You are allowed to ask for hints if you like.
I'll take a hint.
Let's just say they might want to think about redoing their mascot for a more prehistoric animal.
I don't know. Buy a new costume? I don't know.
No, they were digging doing the construction, and they found ancient mammoth bones underneath the construction site. Not sure how the mammoths got to Oregon, but they did, and they are no longer with us, unfortunately. Nick, question for you, sir. Star women's soccer player Sydney Leroux announced this week that she will be missing the 2016 NWSL season and the Olympics because why?
She is pregnant.
Yes, she is. Nicely done. U.S. soccer fans are going, but wait, who's going to... Oh, wait, we have Alex Morgan, we have Amy Rodriguez. We're fine. Yeah, no, they've got plenty of people. But yeah, Sydney Leroux, she just got married to Dom Dwyer of Sporting Kansas City just this last year, and the couple is already expecting their first baby, and Sporting Kansas City has already put in a homegrown player contract discovery claim as well on the new baby. So we'll see what happens with that, though, in the future.
All right, it's time for another break, but don't worry, we'll be right back, and our panelists will have another chance to answer some questions about this week's sports news. You're listening to What's the Score, the sports news quiz, broadcasting on Sports Radio America, Spreaker.com, and the Sports Quotient.
Hey everyone, this is Baxter Colburn, host of What's the Score, the sports news quiz. Want to take a moment to let all of you know that if you enjoy listening to What's the Score, you can find us on thesportsquotient.com. Go and check out thesportsquotient.com. Check out and see how you stack up against the rest of the sports world by taking one of their S quizzes. You can also check out the Fantasy Guru section, and for those of you stat geeks out there, they've got plenty of things for you. Plus, check out all the other great content that they have on their podcast section, like this very show right here, What's the Score? Attention all sports radio fans. Yes, I'm talking to you. go and check out the official sponsor of What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. That would be Sports Radio America. If you enjoy all kinds of great sports talk, go and check it out today. You can listen to the BG Sports Show, Sunday Gridiron, Pros in the Paint, Major League Diamond, the College Credit Hour, 2 up front. Oh, and What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. You're not going to want to forget about that. And for those of you that love ABA basketball, listen to their ABA on SRA Game of the Week right here on sportsradioamerica.com. And now, back to more What's the Score craziness.
Welcome back to What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz, and thanks for listening in. We're broadcasting from the BLC studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe. We're playing this week with Nick Zurich, Dan Pfeifer, and Mac Yerks. And here once again is your host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. As we continue on with our show, we want to remind all of you that you can go and find our show on Spreaker.com, on iTunes, and on Stitcher as well. Give us a listen and even write us a review if you'd be so kind as well. It's time now for our last slate of questions for our panelists this week.
All right, Mac, you're up first. A high school wrestler tried a new strategy this week during his match by doing what?
I'll take another hint.
Let's just say that this is something a boy traditionally doesn't wear and you see on a lot of females at a beach.
He dressed up in a bikini.
He did, yes, and not so many words. He wore a wrestling suit that had a bikini on it, and he won. He won, so he distracted his opponent well enough. I've never seen that. I never was a wrestler. Dan, have you seen any of that in your wrestling days?
My wrestling days?
Figured that was a good question to ask the 5'6" guy in the room, you know?
Trying to think of a character that I would have played in WWE, the Great Pfeifini. I don't know.
No?
No, I was not a wrestler. No.
Pfeifini, I like that. Can that be your new Twitter handle, please?
No.
Okay, Nick, question for you, sir. A group of Canadians, so there's your hint right away, announced that they are headed over to Japan to compete in the World Championships of what sport?
The obvious answer would be hockey, but I don't think that's it. But I'll take a hint.
You don't have to come up with the exact word because it's a Japanese word, but I will lead you via the promised land. It is a activity that children like to do in the wintertime.
Bobsledding or sledding.
Still snow-related, but not that, no.
Ooh.
I'll give you one more guess.
No clue.
No clue?
Skiing.
No. They are going over to Japan to play Yukigassen, or snow battle, or as we like to call it, snowball fighting. They are going over to Japan where the World Championships of snowball fighting are apparently held. I didn't know this, but it's been going on for 25-plus years. They have a GoFundMe campaign, so that way they can go over there and make a documentary film about it and everything. But they won the national championships of the North American continent in Yukigassen, and now they're going to Japan to defeat the Japanese at their own game, apparently. We'll see how that goes, I guess, yeah.
Dan, the last question's for you. Family and friends of a late gambling aficionado honored his death this week by doing what?
I have no clue on this one either. Some sort of a hint?
Let's just say it was a different type of visitation.
I have a feeling that this is the question that I am going to end my streak on.
Say it ain't so, Dan.
Yeah. I'm just going to guess that they had the visitation at a casino?
No, close-ish. They dressed him up and in his old gambling attire and played one final round of poker with him once he was already dead.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man.
Yes, Nick.
Was he holding aces and eights?
That's what they were wondering, yes. That is, they don't show the actual hand, but they say they would presume that he was sitting on pocket aces or on eights as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I saw the article this week, and I'm like, oh, interesting. What did they do? And it's literally like he's not there. He's dead. Like he's slumped in the chair, but he's dressed up in his full sunglasses. I don't know why the dead guy's got sunglasses on, but he did. And he's got his hat on, everything good to go. But and then everyone, like, they staged the picture. Everyone's like looking at their cards or like making a reaction or whatever, and the guy's just. But anyway. But yeah, so you learn something new every day, I guess, huh?
Well, folks, it's time for me to break up the fun once again, but when we come back, this week's final contestant will be playing one of our favorite games here on the show, Mascot Madness. We'll be back in just a bit, so don't go away. This is What's the Score, the sports news quiz, broadcasting on the Sports Quotient, Spreaker.com, and Sports Radio America.
Hey guys, this is Baxter, the host of What's the Score, the sports news quiz. Want to take a minute to remind all of you to go and check us out on social media. You can find us on Facebook at What's the Score, the sports news quiz, on Twitter at WTS Sports Quiz, and on Instagram at WTS Sports Quiz as well. And if you enjoy the whole hashtag game, like some of us hashtag like to do, hashtag goals, hashtag believer, hashtag, I don't know, I'm running out of hashtags. Anyway, use the hashtag What's the Score on Twitter and Instagram, and check out some of the other exclusive content that we do as well. Connecting all of us one smartphone at a time. Hey guys, this is Baxter Colburn, host of What's the Score, the sports news quiz. If you enjoy listening to What's the Score, why not go and donate to our Patreon account today? That's patreon.com. Search for What's the Score and donate today. You can get awesome t-shirts, before the show shout-outs, and so much more. Tell your friends about us. Hey, if you donate, we'd be happy to give you a shout-out and even have you come on the show and play a game or two with us as well. Patreon.com, patreon.com, and donate to What's the Score today. We appreciate your support. And now, back to more What's the Score action.
Welcome back, everyone. This is What's the Score, the sports news quiz. I'm Josh Scheibe, your game master. Our Name 5 panelist showdown is coming up, but first we have a round of Mascot Madness. Here to get the game going is your host at the BLC Studios here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's Baxter Colburn!
Thank you, Josh. Thanks, everyone. We've had a great show so far, and as Josh mentioned, it is time for Mascot Madness, and our next contestant is here in the studio with us. Good evening.
Hello, my name's Bruce.
Hello, Bruce. Playing our next game is Bruce Heffler. Welcome to the show, Bruce.
Thank you. Great to be here.
All right, Bruce, you're going to be playing our game titled Mascot Madness, where we will be taking two teams and mixing up their names, and you must tell us what two teams make up the new team name that we have created. Answer 3 out of the 5 questions correctly, and you will win our prize, a What's the Score t-shirt. Game Master Scheibe, can you give Bruce an example, please?
I can. If we said these teams from the NFL and NBA create the Green Bay Thunder, the answer would be the Green Bay Packers and Oklahoma City Thunder.
Clear as mud?
Sure.
Absolutely. All right, Game Master Scheibe, lead us off with the first question.
These teams from the NFL and MLB create the New Orleans Diamondbacks.
New Orleans Hornets and the Arizona Diamondbacks.
You got the... Yeah, we're looking for the NFL New Orleans team.
Oh, New Orleans Saints.
And the...
And the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yes, that is correct. Nicely done. Here is your next one. These teams from the NHL and college sports create the LA Cornhuskers.
So this would be the NHL?
The NHL, the National Hockey League, yes. Remember, you do have
it's-
one hint if you need it, just FYI.
Okay, so it's the NHL, and the second one was?
The college sports world. Do you want the team name
Yes.
one more time? Yes. So these from the NHL and college sports create the LA Cornhuskers.
The Los Angeles Kings and the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yes, indeed. 2 for 2. All right, let's see if we can keep it rolling, Bruce.
These teams from the NBA and MLB create the Brooklyn Royals.
Brooklyn Royals. So that would be the... I'm going to take a hint.
Okay. Who would you like your hint from? You've got Nick, Dan, or Mac.
Dan, give me a hint on the NBA part of it.
The hint I will give you on the NBA part is swoosh.
Okay, so it's the Brooklyn Nets and the... I'm trying to remember the second part of it. So it was NBA, and it was...
Mm-hmm. Do you want the team name one more time?
The team name was...
The Brooklyn Royals is the name of the team.
Okay, so it's the Kansas City Royals.
Yes, indeed. Nicely done. The Brooklyn Nets and the Kansas City Royals. All right, moving on. Our fourth question. These teams from the NFL and the college sports world create the Los Angeles Longhorns.
So the NFL and Los Angeles?
The NFL team, yes, is that Los Angeles part of it, and the Longhorns is the college sports world part of it.
Well, so Texas Longhorns, the NFL were putting teams there.
Yes.
And the teams would be the Rams.
Yep. It's just one. We're just looking for one team.
Okay, we'll go with the Rams.
There you go. Yes, the Los Angeles Rams and the Texas Longhorns. Just seeing if you were paying attention or not with all the switching going on, because even we don't really know everything. All right, here is your last question, Bruce. Let's go for perfect.
These teams from the NBA and NHL create the Golden State Lightning.
Golden State Warriors and the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yes, nicely done. Game Master Scheibe, I know I don't have to ask, but I'm going to ask, how did Bruce do on our game?
Bruce got 5 out of 5. Perfect score, and he's a winner!
Nicely done, Bruce. Thank you so much for playing our game.
The moment you've all been waiting for is almost here. Stick around and listen to our panelists duke it out on the Name 5 Panelist Showdown coming up right after the break. You're listening to What's the Score? Broadcasting on Sports Radio America, the Sports Quotient, and Spreaker.com. Hello all, I'm Josh Scheibe, your game master here at What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. Thanks for listening in. I may not know much about sports, but what I do know about are our social media pages. Check us out on Facebook at What's the Score, or Twitter and Instagram at WTS Sports Quiz. Thanks very much for listening, and now let's head back to the action. Hello and welcome back. Thanks for listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe. Our panelists have been warming up for their final showdown while they scramble to return to their seats. Here's your host of the BLC studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Last week, we introduced our Panelist Leaderboard to our staff and all of our panelists. It gives our panelists playing each week a little chance to fight for bragging rights and even win some cool stuff along the way. With all that being said, it is time for our Name 5 Panelist Showdown.
Our panelists will be given 4 topics in which they will have 10 seconds to name 5 people, teams, places, or things related to the sports world. Each panelist will have the same category, however, they cannot repeat answers. 1 point is awarded for each correct answer.
Nick and Mac, are you terrified yet?
Yes.
Always. Perfect. Do you want an example, or do you think you're just going to be good to go?
No, an example would be nice.
An example. So if we were to say name 5 current Green Bay Packer players, you would say Aaron Rodgers, da-da-da-da. Whatever the 5 that you would say, Dan would also have to say 5 more, but not repeat any of the 5 you said.
Did you just say first name, too?
You have to say yes. So it would be Aaron Rodgers, Mason Crosby,
Okay.
James Jones, da-da-da-da-da. Okay?
Wow.
You'll figure it out as we go along. Dan starts the first round. Just that way you guys get an idea of what's going on. And we'll go Dan, Nick, Mac, just to start round 1. So round number 1 is name 5 NHL teams. 10 seconds on the clock. Whoa, 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 whoa. Easy does it.
I'm eager.
Apparently. Are you ready? All right, on your mark, get set, go.
The Pittsburgh Penguins, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Detroit Red Wings, the LA Kings, the Anaheim Ducks.
That is correct. You got all 5. Nicely done. In under 10 seconds. Producers, can you play the 10-second buzzer so that way our panelists know what it sounds like? What does it sound like? So if you have 10 seconds to talk before that. Sound good? Nick, you're up next. Name 5 NHL teams. On your mark, get set, go.
New York Islanders, New York Rangers, the Philadelphia Flyers, Detroit Red Wings, and Minnesota Wild.
There we go. You got 5 as well. Nicely done. All right, Mac, we've taken 10 of them. Probably all the Midwestern teams that you were like, oh, yeah, I know these. So I would encourage you to go west on the Oregon Trail. On your mark, get set, go.
We got the Phoenix Coyotes, the Oh, shoot, that was taken already. Okay, LA, that was taken already. Shoot, come on.
You got one. All right, well, you know what? It's not the end of the world. You got one. We'll give him a little clap here, studio audience. We still love him.
Dang.
All right, round number 2, we're starting with Nick. You will be naming 5 college mascots, and by that I mean the Florida Gators, the Florida State Seminoles. I want that, not the University of. It's the name of the school and their mascot. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, you can't use the 2 that I just said, by the way. I know, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right, Nick, on your mark, get set, and go.
Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Clemson Tigers, Alabama Crimson Tide, Auburn Tigers, and LSU Tigers.
There we go, yes. Tiger-ing it up. You got all 5. Dan, sweating in your seat there. Nick's putting a run for his money. All right, Mac, you're up next, sir. Are you ready?
Yep.
On your mark, get set, go.
MSU Spartans, U of M Wolverines, Central Michigan Chippewas. Let's see here. U of A. No. Dang.
Oh, he got 3. He got 3. You were making it harder on yourself by going with the full name. You just had to say Alabama or Central Michigan,
Okay.
whatever. But just so you know, going for it. All right, Dan. We've had 8 out of the entire United States taken, so.
Can I get a clarification? This is NCAA Division 1.
Division
correct?
1, yes, I'm sorry, yes. Division 1 schools. All right, are you ready, sir?
Yes.
Begin.
Wisconsin Badgers, Marquette Golden Eagles, UW Green Bay Phoenix, University of Wisconsin Milwaukee Panthers, DePaul Blue Demons.
There we go. You always end on DePaul. Last time you were on the show, you had DePaul as well. Nicely done.
It's a nice school.
I'm sure. Do you have personal ties to the school?
It's a Jesuit school, and I have ties to Marquette University with the soccer work, so
Fellow
got to look out
Jesuits.
for the other Jesuits. We got the Pope now, so everyone's on our side.
You got the Pope now? What is that even supposed
We
to
do.
mean?
The Pope is a Jesuit now.
Well,
It's
sure.
the first ever Jesuit Pope. Well, is this a sports show, or are we
I don't know.
talking
Mac,
religion?
all
What
right,
happened?
we're up to you now. Round number 3, you are going to be naming 5 current AFC running backs. Current, meaning in the league now, not back in the day like Bo Jackson, Marshall
AFC.
Faulk, all that. AFC. Current. On your mark, get set, go.
That would be AFC. Gosh, I can't even think right now. On air. That would be Eddie Lacy. No, that's
No,
NFC.
he's NFC.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
So 0, big fat goose egg for Mac on that one. All right, Dan, you're up next, sir. Are you ready?
No, but okay.
Here we go. Begin.
C.J. Anderson, Lamar Miller, oh no, Priest Holmes.
No, come on, Priest Holmes.
Yep.
Talk about being old. You dated yourself with that answer right there.
O.J. Simpson. No,
Free OJ. Hashtag free OJ. No, he's not. So Dan only got 2. Oh, man. Producer Kurt, Lamar Miller is the running back for the Dolphins. Yeah, you had your hand like, who? Yeah. The Dolphins have a running game, believe it or not. All right, Nick, are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am.
All right, on your mark. Get set, go.
Chris Ivory, James White, LaShawn Shady McCoy, Le'Veon Bell, and blanking Williams.
Oh,
God.
we got 4. Nobody touched Jamal Charles. I thought somebody would jump on Jamal
well,
Charles.
he's on IR. So.
Still current. He's
Yeah,
still
no.
part of the...
We're too far removed from fantasy football season.
Oh, my goodness. Everybody, it's the Pro Bowl week, and everyone just throws the NFL out the window like, what?
Yeah.
What happened? Yeah. All right, fine. All right, Game Master Scheibe, as we go into our final round, what are the scores?
Mac has 6 points, Dan has 14, and Nick is in the lead with 15.
Oh, all right. Well, Mac, you will be leading us off.
Sweet.
Beauty before brains here. All right. The final round for all of you gentlemen. The final round will go the actual order we just did as well. So just so you guys are aware. So Mac is first, then Dan, and then Nick for the possibility of winning it all. All right, here we go, Mac. Name 5 current NFC quarterbacks. On your mark, get set, go.
Aaron Rodgers, Teddy Bridgewater, Matthew Stafford.
And he got 3. He got 3. Okay, that's not a problem. No, nicely done. So the NFC North is done because no one cares about the other quarterback. All right, Dan, are you ready, sir? So Dan needs 4 to tie, 5 to take the lead. Is that correct? No. Dan needs 1 to tie, and whatever money else to take the lead.
Correct.
Got it. All right, Dan, you ready to roll?
Let's do it.
On your mark, get set, go.
Jay Cutler, Matt Ryan, Eli Manning, Cam Newton, and Russell Wilson.
Oh, no, he didn't get it. No, he did not get it. No, he got 4. All right, so we've had 7 total of the 16. So nicely done, Dan. So Game Master Scheibe, what is Nick looking at for a possible tie/victory?
Nick needs 3 points to tie and 4 to win.
Just FYI, Nick, if you do get 3, you and Dan would go to a sudden death. Just FYI.
I don't want to die.
Is it a wrestling match?
Yes.
Dan's prowess of his...
And in the bikini suits and everything.
As
yes.
the great Pfeifini.
Yes.
Off the table. All right. 3 to tie, 4 to win. And if you know all 5, you can go straight through, too. Don't stop.
Sure.
Okay. Are we ready? On your mark, get set, and go.
Russell Wilson, Carson Palmer, Blaine Gabbert, Jameis Winston, and I'll throw in apparently Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, that is good. He got all 5. Nicely done. Game Master Scheibe, sir. Who is our victor this week?
Nick is the winner with 20 points.
Nicely done, Nick. Congratulations. First time on the panel, and you have officially defeated the great Pfeifini. So how does that feel?
I'm not sure after he set himself up to be so great and then tore himself down. So I've known Dan too long, so it feels great, actually.
Okay, absolutely. You're going to take this one all the way through the work week. Well, thank you, gentlemen, and thank you to all of you as well. What's the Score has been a production of the Sports Quotient and Sports Radio America. Thanks to our contestants and studio audience here at the BLC studios. Our panelists this week have been Mac Yerks, Dan Pfeifer, and Nick Zurich. Our social media producers are Emily Heffler and Erica Hill. Our theme was composed by Danny Hoffenstein. Our media producer is Eric Condia. Our sound engineer is Kurt Colburn. And our executive producer is Corey Plath. And the executive director of What's the Score is Liz Colburn.
I've been your Game Master, Josh Scheibe.
And I've been your host, Baxter Colburn. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you all again next time on What's the Score. Hey everyone, Baxter Colburn here for What's the Score, the sports news quiz. Want to take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, Sports Radio America. Go and check out sportsradioamerica.com today to find the latest shows about the sports world. You can listen to What's the Score on their network. You can also catch great shows like Pros in the Paint, Sunday Gridiron, the College Credit Hour, 2 Up Front, the BG Sports Show, and oh so much more. Go and check them out today, sportsradioamerica.com. We appreciate their support and yours as well. And now back to more What's the Score action. Hey everyone, welcome to our post-game interview. I am your host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
And I'm your Game Master, Josh Scheibe.
We are here with our panelists after a rousing game of Name 5 and the overall What's the Score episode number 7. Congratulations to Nick Zurich on winning our panelist showdown this week. Nicely done, sir.
Thank you.
So, Nick, we'll start with you first. You defeated the fabulous Fab Pfeifer this week, the ferocious Pfeifer and the whatever else you want to say with the PH or the PF. How does it feel not only to win your first time on the panel, but also to defeat a lifelong friend?
It was exhilarating and stunningly better than anything I could have felt.
Wow.
No, it was great. I appreciate the opportunity. It was couldn't have done it without my teammates, and yeah.
Fair enough. We'll save Dan for last. Mac, first time on the panel this week. Not from a statistical standpoint, maybe not your greatest showing, but you'll come back next season bigger and stronger, and we're ready to play. But how would you rate your performance today?
I'd say not that well. It takes a lot being on the air, and then when off the air, it's a lot of stress and.
What was stressful about the part of you being a
it's just like you're thinking about so much things right now, so it's like oh, I knew that, but at the time you didn't know that.
Happens to me every day, honestly. Dan, sir, you finished in second this week, so your leaderboard spot will take a little bit of a shift, but not too big of a damage because you were defeated by someone that wasn't even on the leaderboard yet, so that works kind of in your favor. But what happened? You kind of fell apart there at the end.
Yeah, we got into AFC running backs, which I was trying to even think back to my fantasy football teams, and I don't think I really had any of them this year.
Kind of a dying breed this year.
Yeah, so kind of just started to fall apart there, and then didn't get all the NFC quarterbacks, and that opened the door for Nick. But I'm proud of my buddy Nick here for getting the job done. All the credit goes to him tonight. He he knows his stuff, and folks should definitely go and read his blog for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, gentlemen, we have one question that we like to ask a lot of people.
We do we?
Usually.
Am I asking the question, or are you asking the question?
I'll ask
No,
the
go ahead.
question.
Go,
All right.
please,
Okay,
please.
fine. Who is your favorite backyard baseball player? If you played it.
Or just backyard sports as a
backyard
whole.
sports as a whole.
Yes.
I'm getting...
I can start.
Sure, Dan, go ahead.
Because I go with the typical answer that everyone goes with, as we discussed a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
How can you go away from Pablo Santos?
Absolutely. The secret weapon, as he goes by, yes. Mac, did you play any backyard sports back in the day?
I remember the guy with the long head. Was he?
Oh,
He's tall?
Ricky Johnson.
Yes,
absolutely. I didn't play backyard baseball this last week. Not at all. Not I don't have it on my computer.
Wait, as far as context, as far as like who you thought you were when you were playing
Sure.
in the backyard? I mean, Vlad Guerrero.
Oh, okay. You were
That's
Vlad
mine.
Guerrero. But what about the original cast? Do you have any
Oh,
original
no
cast
idea.
members? No cast
No.
members? What about the Weber sisters? You kind of seem like you'd relate to Sydney and Ashley a little bit there with the Weber sisters.
No.
No,
not at
Kenny
all.
Kawaguchi in the wheelchair. Once again,
No,
I
it's out of
say
my
I did
realm.
not play backyard baseball this week. It is not on my computer. It is. But anyway, just won the Backyard Little League World Series this week. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by on our panel this week. Mac, always a pleasure, sir. You're welcome back. Just study a little harder next time. No. We love you. Dan, sir, always a pleasure as well. And
Thanks
Nick,
for having me.
Congratulations. And hopefully we'll have you back again to defend your title.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I have been your host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
And I've been your game master, Josh Scheibe.
We will see you all again next time. Have a great night.